Hey there, lovely people. Welcome back to the lovely place. My name's Sean, and I'm up here today doing some work. It's been a really good day so far. So happy our tractor is running. If you have not had an opportunity to see the trouble I had with my Case IH 75C, it started when I was doing a lot of service on it, and then I had a no crank, no start situation. It was days of trying to figure things out, and it ended up being a very simple and great easy fix, something that I should have checked first. So go back and watch that if you ever have had any no crank, no start tractor issues, and you probably could have figured it out a lot sooner than I did, but we finally got it, thank the Lord. Today what I've been doing is I've been picking up piles of sticks and limbs and stuff that fall off all these trees as the winds blow and the storms come through here. We're always picking up sticks. Well, I say we, I must have a rat in my pocket. It's not we, it's actually Mrs. Lovely. It's her. She does all of the stick picking up. She isn't with me today up here, and so I'm on my own, and I've been grabbing these piles with the grapple on the front of the case. It's a WR long grapple, and I've been taking them way down there to the field. You see that pile furthest out there, and we're going to be doing burn out there, and we're going to be doing some burns in here too. In a previous video as well, in fact it was when the tractor was having issues, we pushed all that dirt up around this pile and the front of that pile over there, just so that we could get those piles a little bit of clearance away from these trees. Didn't want to catch anything on fire when we end up doing it. This pile was about 4 foot taller just a little while ago. I grappled down and grabbed it. Underneath this pile we had a fire pit, and there's a whole lot of rocks stacked around, so I'm going to come back up here in a little bit. I'm going to try to get that without picking up a bunch of rocks, just try to get in there and get a little bit of that. I've already got most of it, but we've got some other things that I'm going to pick around on and get picked up. In fact, let me show you something that I think that would be worth watching. It'll be my first time doing this with this root rake grapple. I'll show you the grapple in just a second, but this is a fallen tree that I have previously cut, you know, that section out right from that point on. It went all the way out that direction. But this tree is still deeply embedded with the root ball into the ground. And so I've not messed with it trying to get it out, but I'm going to do that today with the grapple and the Case IH 75C. And then we'll end up cutting this off and saving this for either firewood or potentially a piece of lumber, but most likely firewood for this one. And then I'll also pick these up and get them out here. But I don't know how much luck. In fact, I'll get these out here first, out of the way. And like I was going to say, I don't know how much luck I'm going to have with that root rake grapple. I don't believe it's quite designed for this kind of work, but it's a beast. I mean, you can see what it did down there, how I was able to dig in, push all those logs and sticks and all that brush up in there, and there was a ton of dirt. The reason all that dirt's even there is because we had a bulldozer up here, and they cleared out a lot of space for the barn and a lot of undergrowth and some small stuff in this area and pushed it all down there. That was, you know, going on 4 years ago. And so yeah, we'll show you this root rake grapple and let you get a idea of how big this beast is. And you can root that, no pun intended on the root, you can root for us that we will be able to pull these roots up out of the ground. All right, here she is. This is Big Red, and this is a WR long root rake grapple, and I'm going to measure just to be sure. Is it a 78 inch, 72? Can't recall here. Oh, dropped the tape measure. I think I almost saw what it is. Let's see if we can keep that on there this time. It's a 72, well, almost a 73 inch, but it's a beast. I love this clamshell design, but with the dual cylinders on the front and the capability for one of these to clamp down on a pile of brush while the other one might be clamping down on a larger log or something, so that it holds the entire you know, batch in there and less falls out. If you learn how to manipulate this thing just right, you won't dig up the earth when you're trying to pick up a pile of sticks. Like I picked up some here a while ago, and if you're not careful, when I first got this thing and started messing around, I was digging up a whole lot of dirt when I was trying to maneuver it. But you just gotta play with it and kind of raise it, turn it forward, and then, you know, crush in a little bit and then lower it, and just go back and forth. If you go back to some of the videos that I've done before, and maybe even some that we'll get on here today, you'll see that technique. We got that puppy picked up, didn't we? That's where it was, right over there. Now, how am I gonna get this through the woods? I should have cut it, but these trees are not too terribly close together. We'll just have to do a little angling. So, see that trunk sticking out over there? We're gonna kind of angle it up right around that tree. Oh, I'm actually touching it was back up. I almost missed it. Let's go around. There we go. Now cut the steering wheel, come back in, and try to miss this. This will bend because that's tiny little limbs right there. It'll get rid of a few leaves, but I think we can manage. We'll have to do that a couple more times, then we'll drop it off. Make this happen. So again, I don't mind hitting the trees with this end. It's this end I want to avoid. So I got that tree right over there. Yeah, I missed it. That's good. Got these going. Alright, now I got to cut real hard here. This one's going to be the difficult one. Right. Look how close I am here. Tree, not close. I missed that, so now I can cut back to the left. Alright. We'll come back and get some of that here in a minute. So I think my best bet is to go out that way. I'll get this limb on around this big old pretty tree. Yeah, we got this. We got this. Stick her in fourth gear and just start cruising. Got a few little bumps down here, so I'll take it a little slow. Don't want to lose any of this load here. We did it. Drop it off. We're going to have one massive bonfire out here soon, ain't we? Actually, more than one. This is pretty much a flat wall right here. We'll see if we'll get this to lay up on there. Here's the cool thing about this case with this window, the sunroof kind of deal. It's really there. It's designed so you can see your load. Because if I didn't have this, all that would, I'd have to be bending down and looking up to see it. But I've got it all right here. Put you in first gear and ease up here a little bit. I'll ease up a little more if I can. I'm gonna drop this. See if she'll set up on top up there. Looks like it's going to. Let's back it up. There it is. We've been adding a lot to this even today. And yeah, I should have turned it on for all that because there was some really big piles of brush, but we're gonna get that root out of the ground up there, I hope. Cross your fingers. All right, so this is the pile I was telling you about a little while ago that has rock all the way around it because I had previously built a fire pit here, and we thought we would just burn these as we threw them in, but Mrs. Lovely, when she starts picking up sticks, she don't mess around. And like I said, this was about 4 feet taller just a little while ago, and I grabbed the top off of this in one big bunch with the grapple. I was gonna throw this up here on top. Hope the copperheads are not out yet. This has been where we have seen baby copperheads in the past, in the springtime. A little bit later in the year, I think, than we are now. We're in very late March at the moment. But we'll get this up there. We'll try to pick this up without disturbing those rocks too bad underneath. I may get into them. It's hard to tell. And it's hard to see where the front of the grapple is when you're up there in the cab of the tractor. You don't always know, but you get a feel for it over time. Let's see if we can pick some of this up. Okay, let's see how we did. I'm just curious. I jumped off the tractor. I got the load on it down there, but did pretty good. You can see, here's the rocks all the way. This is a different pile of rocks here, but as far as the actual fire pit rocks, they're going all the way around. So I think we did a pretty good job without disturbing it. What I'm gonna do here in a minute, it's pretty wet in there. We had a lot of rain the last couple of days, but I'm gonna probably pile a lot of that in there and just do a little controlled burn right there. But let's look at this load real quick. I'm just curious how she looks on in the grapple. So you can see how we filled it up good. I wish I'd recorded that earlier one because I got a whole lot more than this just because there was so much. Got us a rock in there. Yeah, there was just so much above it earlier. It was piled so high I was able to get a ton. But this is fun, and honestly, if you don't have a grapple for your tractor, you should get one. It makes all the difference in the world if you got a lot of property. All right, first thing we'll do, we'll just grab this pile here and get rid of these. Then we're gonna start digging into that root system. All right, let's do it. I'm gonna cheat. Let's grab this. We missed this one. let's stick it in there. All right, so we're up here at the dirt ball. This is a big grapple. When this thing's open up, it's up here to my shoulder. I'm standing straight up. I'm right at 6 feet, and it's right here. This thing has a wide mouth to get in there. So these tines we're gonna take and we're gonna try to dig in. Now, for all I know, there's a tap root that goes way, way, way deep down in the ground, and we might not budge this. What I really should have done, I didn't know I was gonna do this today, but I'm doing it. But I didn't put any ballast on the back. It would be better if I had my big old huge 8-foot Kodiak box blade on the back, because that thing weighs a lot. We don't have liquid in the rear tires here, but the tractor came with these weights, so that's a little bit. But no doubt in my mind, because I've been here and done this kind of thing, when I dig into here, it's going to want to lift one side or the other, the rear tires up off the ground, most likely. And I can only do so much if it's doing that. This thing's got the power, but it doesn't have the weight in the back to hold it down at this point in time. So if this doesn't work today, I'll just dig around it the best I can, and then at some point in the future I'll get the box blade on here and finish it up. But we'll see if we can make it work. We got it out, but what I said was accurate, and that is it's tipping. The tractor's tipping. I'm gonna need to get the chainsaw cut this up a little bit because this thing is heavy. It's heavy without the ballast in the back. Take a look at this rear wheel and this tire. It's literally off the ground. It's not touching. So I tipped up to the side a little bit with all that weight on there. So I'm not going to be, and that's because this root ball is so heavy on this side, even though it doesn't look all that much larger than the tree itself. That's a lot of weight, but that's impressive. I hope you agree. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. This looks like some good clay right here, and I'm hoping we got good clay down there because we want to dig a pond down that way before long, but that's encouraging. Some good clay. So anyway, I probably will drop this thing, cut it off, probably cut it somewhere in here, and probably this way a little bit, get out all that dirt and that mess. Don't want to screw up my chainsaw, but we'll cut that and just make that root ball separate from this tree, this big piece right here, and we'll put it down there where we've got some piled up to make some firewood one of these days soon, and then we'll get this root ball and put it out there to burn. So yeah, let's get this done. Well, since we're only going to make that one cut, I thought, why not use this newer Milwaukee battery operated chainsaw here. So we're going to do that. I'm just topping off a little lube here for the chain in the little area here, and then all we have to do from there is slap a battery on this thing and get to cutting. We will use one of our HD 12 amp hour batteries here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get my chaps on and some eye protection and stuff, and we'll get going. So on second thought, I think I'm gonna get the grapple, pick it up a little bit, and just cut it off so it'll fall. That way I don't get it pinched or anything in there. Make it easier to cut. I'll cut it right about here. Even though this thing doesn't make much noise, I went ahead and put on the helmet with the ear protection. The ear muffs hold the helmet on my head. So let's get this going. I'm gonna get underneath it first. Nice. So we'll take this log, may be able to use it for some firewood. We'll get this on the burn pile. I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen this little Milwaukee top handle chainsaw in action besides just then, I got a few videos on here that on this channel that kind of highlights this thing when I got it, and you know, cutting quite a few smaller things and some things about that size. In fact, it's the other, well, no, it's a different tree actually, but that cut right through it. It cuts like butter. I've not yet sharpened this chain because I've only made, you know, a handful of cuts on it so far, and I couldn't be happier than I am with this. Now, the benefit of this is not only quickly just getting it out, not worrying about mixing fuel and gas and getting it in my steel chainsaw. I got an MS 261C, and I love that chainsaw. I've had issues with the first one I got, but it was probably user error because I was brand new at chainsawing. There's some good videos on that MS 261C as well, and it's a hoss of a chainsaw. But for just a little electric chainsaw, you know, battery operated, this guy, she is a beast. I tell you, I love it. It cuts right through things. I mean, proof's in the pudding. That is, here's my hand. So we're
probably from here to here about 6.5, 7 inches. And then we got another 5 or so. So this is about a 12-incher, something like that right here. And cut through it in no time flat. Again, one of the reasons it's great to have a little cordless, you know, battery operated chainsaw like that Milwaukee top handle chainsaw is because you don't want to fire up your steel, gas powered, or whatever brand you got chainsaw for one cut. You want that thing to get hot, get warm, and you want to work it a little bit hotter. So for just 1 or 2 cuts, a few here and there, you can't beat that. And look at the stuff, the sawdust it blew out at us. All right, let's move this thing. Well, we got it done. It was a good day. It was a good day, and I'm getting hungry, so it won't be long before I'll be going to get some grub. But I wanted to show you real quick where I dumped that log. I'm starting to gather up quite the little collection of firewood that I'll be able to start cutting soon and then splitting. So yeah, this is the one right here that we just dropped in this pile. Got quite a few, so that's going to be a good start. A lot of those have been drying out for some time now. Well, what a gorgeous day it's been up here at the lovely place, and to have you with me is a blessing, and I appreciate you guys, you know, being a part of this journey with us. As many of you know, we purchased this land 3.5 to 4 years ago, and it's a total now, we added a little to it, of 60 acres. And we feel so blessed to have it. And our whole purpose in doing this, we don't live here yet. We want to eventually build a home and move here. We want to create a homestead. We want to have gardens, just gardens galore. We want to be able to grow our own food and then some, and we want to be able to put it up and can it, potentially freeze dry. We don't have a freeze dryer yet, but we want to get one of those one of these days. Dehydrate it, do what we need to do to store it. I'd like to build a root cellar up here, dig one out, and got lots of options, good places to do that. We purchased solar, and so we hope to have solar installed before too long. Got to finish out the pole barn up there. There's a tiny house in the front of it. We've done a lot of work already, and unfortunately we've not moved too fast too much lately, but we're going to get back on that soon. The intention was to get a lot of that done over the winter, but the winter has come and gone, and spring is just about here. I know you can't tell by these trees, but you give it 4 weeks from now, and there's gonna be leaves all over these trees. And then you give it 4 or 5 weeks after that, and you're not gonna be able to walk through these woods because it gets so thick. We hope to get a mulcher up here on front of a skid steer or something and help us with some of these trails that we've been cutting with a DR, a field and brush mower, a walk behind. That's a great tool, but it's time consuming, but you can get a lot done if that's your budget, and that's been my budget at this point in time. But yeah, this is the lovely place, and we want cattle or sheep, goats, definitely chickens. We definitely won't start with cattle. We'll do small, we'll work our way up and see how far we want to go. Possibly pigs, hopefully a pond out there in the future that we can overlook it. The home's gonna go somewhere up in that area. And then there's just the most amazing view out that direction. So if you haven't done so, as we work on the lovely place to make it our homestead, we'd love for you to be a part of the journey. Come along with us. We're doing this for our family. We're doing it for survival purposes, for self-sustainability as much as you can be, for off-grid. We've already purchased multiple water tanks that we're going to do rain harvesting off the top of the roof of the pole barn and eventually the home and any other structures that we end up building. And down there, down the hill, we've got 2 nice ruts that go down where the water drains off the side of these rolling hills here, and it goes all the way down to the creek. The creek runs the entire length of this whole property. And unfortunately, in the
hot summer when there's very little rain, the creek does go dry. I did not know that when I bought the property, but it does. I should have done a little bit more research, so let that be a lesson to you. If you're looking at property and you're looking at property with water on it, make sure that you do a lot of checking and investigating and confirm that that creek don't run dry. But what I was gonna say is at the bottom of those 2 ruts where the water drains off down the hill, that's where we're going to put our garden. And I'm going to figure out a way to harvest all that water running off this field down those 2 ruts. Big tanks on each side, higher up on the hill from the garden. There's a flat spot down low, and I'm going to try to water that garden off of all the God-given rain that comes down off of this field. So that's going to be fun figuring that out and getting that done. But I think what I'll do next, while I'm letting you guys get back to your day, is I'll probably try to burn this up, do something with it, and then pick up all those rocks that we've got under there and build us a fire pit right here in front of these chairs. We want to get that done so we can get the kids up here. Easter Sunday's coming up, Resurrection Sunday, and we're thinking about bringing them up here for an Easter egg hunt. That'd be some fun times. God bless you. Come back and see us here at the Lovely Place, and we'll see you next time. Take care.